Why you decided to go with orange? Because you've made everything orange.
In all honesty, I don't know. When we did the singles, they each had a color. So like Cleanse Existence was kind of like a reddy orange, Requiem was purple, and then Dispirit was blue. So we're like, oh, we'll just carry that on. So we did orange. I'm sure we probably won't do it next time because it is difficult because you do kind of limit yourself to what you can do when you're just doing one color. But I think, yeah, it looks cool. But I think for the album, we probably won't do that. But we'll see. Who knows?
Well, I like how it all adds cohesion to everything. I think that's really cool. But yeah, I'd get sick of orange after a while if I was. Welcome to the 142nd episode of the Cast That Ends Creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering. This is the show where I interview bands and public figures from the mathcore adjacent communities. If you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, do all the things social. Every little bit helps. And feel free to join us every Sunday and Wednesday for the live cast where you can interact with guests or just hang out in the chat. You can also subscribe to this Twitch channel for just $5 to get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube, as well as access to some exclusive emotes. You can also do that for free by attaching Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. It's like taking $5 from Jeff Bezos' pocket and putting it into mine. With that out of the way, let me introduce our guest today, who dropped their EP Profound Morality last month through Church Road Records. Welcome in Julian of Heriot. How's it going?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
That's cool, man. Thanks for having me.
So, looks like you guys started in 2014. I thought that y'all had started just in 2020 and then found out not too long ago that you guys started way back then. How did the band come together early on?
So we were originally a three-piece. It was just me, Erhan, and Paka. We actually went to school together, so we've been playing music together for years and years. I think we were all in other bands that broke up and then started Harriet about a week after that. And we didn't really have the time to pursue it then. I mean, we put out a few stuff. We put out an EP in 2016. But yeah, we just didn't have the time to put the effort in that we do now. So yeah, when 2020, or I think it was 2019 in the summer, actually, Deb joined the band, and we kind of relaunched at the end of 2020 with the new lineup.
Interesting. So what came up? Like people going to school and stuff, or?
Yeah. So yeah, Jake moved to Bristol and he was at uni. And then the rest of the other two dudes, we were just working. So it was just, yeah, we didn't have the time. Thankfully, the pandemic was really kind to us, and that gave us the time to make music and really put a lot more effort into it.
Okay, so that's the reason why y'all came back together then, was just because you had nothing else going on, really?
We didn't really split up. We just didn't do it as often as we'd like. We play like a few shows a year. We just did it for fun. I think that we approached it really differently when Deb came in and we started writing new music, and it changed. The sound changed. If you look in the depths of Google, I'm sure you can find some of our old stuff, but we did try to get rid of most of the old stuff online.
Well, see, the thing that threw me was that your Bandcamp, it just starts with the single in 2020 or 2019 maybe. No, it was 2020. So I thought that that's when y'all started. Like you scrubbed everything else from it, and then I go to rate your music, and it looks like you guys started way back then. And I actually just listened to, I think it was your first single that y'all put out. Yeah, not too long ago, and the sound is pretty different. I would say it's pretty similar, but I see a lot of growth and evolution. So yeah, so do y'all consider this like a new band then, or do you just a continuation?
I mean, if people ask us, we're not going to lie. We're going to say, yeah, some people know that we've been around for years, especially like in the hardcore scene and stuff in the UK. But yeah, we saw it as a fresh start. We started again. Like we scrubbed all our socials. We tried to get rid of every trace of the old stuff. We took it all off Spotify, Bandcamp, everything. So yeah, we kind of pitched as a new band in 2020.
Okay, you just feel like that the old sound isn't y'all anymore, or it just seems so weird to like get rid of all that history.
Yeah, we were kind of like a doomier band. There was a lot more like, I don't know. It was different.
It wasn't as industrial is like the main thing I noticed when I was listening to your old stuff.
It wasn't as heavy as well. I think we were playing in standard tuning still. Like now we're in drop A, so there's a big difference in the sound. Like I'm still proud of that stuff. There's people out there that know that stuff and like it, but It's different. We don't play any of that. We got rid of all that. We scrapped everything. We started fresh.
Okay. Huh. So you've released with the new sound, the new lineup. You've released two singles, an EP. Oh, I would call this Spirit an EP to me. Then you did a cover of Machine Head cover, and now you have this EP. How has your sound evolved from your the beginning singles for this lineup to your EP now?
I think we really kind of started to find our sound on Dispirit. I think that was the third track we released. I think Cleansed Existence is heavy. That was the first thing we did. Recreant is kind of really different. We don't like that song too much now. We don't play it live anymore already, but we were still kind of finding our feet. I think with Dispirit, that's where we got the balance of the industrial and the kind of the drones and stuff and the electronics. We incorporated it well, and I think that was where we felt comfortable. And then the EP built off that. I think that's probably still like one of my favorite songs. I think it's a fan favorite as well. I think people know that song. That's when people started to take notice. That was the first song we put out on Church Road Records as well, so it was the biggest at the time.
Y'all have like an interesting release history, like being dropping singles, just like singles, and most bands will do like an EP to start with, or like an album to start with, or something like that. But you started with just like this trickle. So do you feel like that helped you? Or do you think if you could do it over again, you would do like an EP first?
No, it was very much intentional and calculated to be that way. We wanted to like build an audience. So part a single, I think we'd left like kind of 6 to 8 weeks in between each one for the first three. And it was just, we didn't want to put out an EP and have no audience to hear it. Gotcha. So we thought, we'll put out, because we couldn't do gigs. It was all during the pandemic as well. So we couldn't go out and play shows. So we were like, right, we'll just make the most of the internet and see how well we do. And it's the same with the EP. We did the EP because we didn't want to do an album. So we wanted to build the audience. So like we want to build like stepping stones up. Right. And it's worked exactly how we planned it, which is good, thankfully.
So you had all this stuff recorded at one time?
No, not really. We kind of did it as we went along. When we put out Cleansed Existence, that was all we had. We wrote and recorded Recreant, and then after that we wrote Dispirit. I think Dispirit was written really, really quickly. And then I think the week before Dispirit came out, we started writing the EP. So we were kind of just working as we go. We knew we were going to do singles, but they weren't written. They weren't ready. Because we weren't that organized, unfortunately.
Well, shit, it all worked out really well for you guys. Like. This is, it's cool. Crazy seeing, like, when I first noticed you guys, it was because y'all were on the what was it, Breakout UK Metal Artist or something like that. I forget what the actual like what the awards is actually called.
The Heavy Music Awards.
There you go. Yeah, that's where I first saw you guys. I'm like, what the fuck? How did they get on this? Like, who's Heriot?
Yeah, that's what we were like as well. We were very surprised.
So what genre would you consider yourself?
I'd say we're a hardcore band with like kind of industrial elements. I think we'll always be a hardcore band. But yeah, I mean, whatever people hear in it is fine by me. Like I think we're just heavy. We're a metal band. Like I don't know. I'm not. Whatever you take from it, then that's cool. But yeah, I think we'll always be a hardcore band. We've played with hardcore bands, still play with hardcore bands. So we fit in that scene. So yeah.
Well, I would say your sound's super interesting and very original to me. You're this like heavy hardcore band with almost like grindcore vibes at times, and this heavy industrial just like kind of glaze over it, which is it's so good, so heavy and I don't know, dark, I guess. But then it breaks down into these like melodic, atmospheric parts with a lot of clean singing and stuff. Well, not a lot, but with some clean singing. You're kind of like all over the map, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, I can't think of a band that really quite sounds like you guys. So I feel like you're onto something really, really awesome.
Yeah, I think like the same. We have influences, and there's bands we get compared to, and I can hear elements of that, but I don't think we sound exactly like those bands. Like people compare us to Knock Loose, and I'm like, I don't really hear it myself. And then like Code Orange, like I get it, but we don't sound like those bands exactly. So I think we can fit on a metal show with thrash bands, and we can fit on a hardcore show, and it'll work for both. So yeah, I think we're lucky in that respect. Well,
I did see Download Fest, you guys opening up for Electric Wizard on stage. It's like Kind of an interesting pair right there.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's our next big thing that is going to be pretty wild. I think we got the luckiest slot of the weekend as well. We're opening like the first stage, so we're going to be like the first band that's played Download properly since 2019. They did a pilot festival there last year. It was like a smaller scale version, but yeah, we were the first band to play back at Download after 2 years. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. So what would you consider the big influences going into the sound?
I think there's a lot of kind of early noughties metalcore kind of stuff. We're all into quite different bands. There's a few bands that we all like. We all like Nails and bands like that. But I think I can like Deb's kind of into Converge and Dillinger Escape Plan, stuff like that. I don't really listen to a lot of metal outside of the band anymore. So like, yeah, we all have quite different tastes, but when we get together, it works. It's not quite easy when we write. We have fun and we enjoy it. But yeah, it's a different melting pot of influences. I think there's literally probably 2 or 3 bands that we were like Nails and Full of Hell and stuff like that. Everything else is just all over the place.
So what do you listen to when you're not listening to metal?
I listen to a lot of pop music. In all honesty, I like Dua Lipa and Sigrid and stuff like that. Like, I do like metal. I love metal. I've listened to metal since I was like 10 years old. Like, but I don't listen to a lot of new stuff really too much anymore. I'm quite boring in the fact that I still listen to the same records I did when I was a kid.
No, I got you. That's actually a sentiment that I get a lot. Is a lot of musicians don't keep up with the new releases and such. But that's interesting, like hearing you as a drummer for a metal band saying that you listen to like pop and stuff outside of it, because it's like you're doing blast beats and shit like that in here, and it's just a weird juxtaposition being like really into the more mainstream poppy stuff and this.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really see myself as much of a metal drummer. Like, I grew up listening to Slipknot and that, like Joe Jordan's like my biggest influence, but like I'm not that great at playing metal, but I'm in a metal band, so it's just it's how it works. I love metal. It's not like I don't love it, but I'm just not like on the pulse of new stuff too much.
Okay, it's an interesting thing. I would say you're selling yourself short, man. You got some good chops.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
So how does the writing process work with y'all? Is one person mainly directing it, or are y'all bringing in little bits and pieces?
With the EP, we booked a rehearsal space for a week. We moved in there 5 days, and when we stayed at a hotel kind of around the corner, we went in there with a folder of kind of ideas, but not really fleshed out ideas. So we had starting points, and we wrote the whole EP in that 5-day period. We basically did like a track a day, I think, because I mean, like the full band songs, the kind of interludes and stuff, we started working on in at that time, but the full band tracks we basically did one a day, and it was quite fun, I think, because we hadn't written a big body of work for so long. It was quite easy. We're probably not going to be that lucky again, maybe, when it comes to doing an album, but I think I'd like to approach it the same, because it was nice and easy and it was fun. Like, but yeah, we all kind of chip in. We had like half the room was set up as like a studio, and half the room was like the place where you could just jam it. So we'd sit and play for hours, just playing riffs, and then if something cool came out of that, we go, oh cool, and then we go to the computer and then get it down and then work on it from there. So it was quite organic and fun that way.
That's awesome. Hearing you like talk about this big investment, like you're going to like a warehouse, renting out a warehouse for like 5 days or whatever, and this is like stuff that bands don't normally do. So like, how are you able to just go rent out like a warehouse and record stuff?
It's like in a rehearsal space. It's not the nicest rehearsal space. It's like the upstairs room of this place we go to. It's got like a big leak, and it leaks like if it rains, you're gonna get dripped on while you're playing and stuff. Like it's pretty
okay. So it's not nasty. Like you're not like in a 5-star like.
No, it's not glamorous at all. But like it has its charm, and it sounds wicked in there. The sound is really good. We did some percussion for the EP. In that room, we recorded it on the day and kept it, like, because it sounds cool. It's a nice big room, so drums sound cool in there. But yeah, because we all live all over the place, and it is quite difficult to get us all in the same room. Doing it like that just worked. Like booking a week off work and right, we'll go, and whatever we come up with is the record. So
Okay.
there was a bit of pressure in that respect, but it worked out. So we're lucky.
So I had stuff about lyrics, but I'm thinking. So the recording process, you guys recorded it all yourself, or?
Yeah. So Jake, he's our bassist and vocalist. He produces everything. He does all the kind of sound design stuff as well. So yeah, we did the drums with someone called Claire Sutton. She has a studio in Swindon, so it's like around the corner from us. It's like 10 minutes. Really nice space. We did the drums there, and then we did all the guitars in Packer's flat in his front room at his computer, and then him and Deb did the vocals at home. I think most of them, Deb kind of did her bits and sent it over, and then we went to a guy called George Lever to mix it all. So it's quite a long process. It wasn't like we did it in a week where you'd record, like you go to a studio and you record in a week. We had to do it in stages. It took a few months. Like we Airham would go down to Bristol after work to track guitars and stuff like that. It took a while, but we got there.
I don't think I know George. What's he been involved in? Like what has he mixed before this?
So he is probably most known for like Sleep Token and Loathe.
Oh, okay.
Holding Absence, stuff like that.
This is a big name then for you guys.
Yeah. We've known him for years as well. Like he's kind of local to us, and he produced our older stuff like back in 2016. Like so he's got very successful recently. So yeah, it's cool. We're still friends with him, and we work really well together. So yeah, it's cool.
Forgot to bring it up, but I'm gonna bring up the artwork. Second, what is the artwork of exactly? Is it like a judge or?
It's you can kind of see it if you look in the left, but it's someone wearing a chainmail hood, swinging a sword.
I thought it was like the old wigs that they wear in.
It looks similar, but yeah, it's a chainmail. It's our friend Harry Steele. He does all of our kind of visuals and stuff. He is he's the guy in the chainmail hood, and they went to a little photo studio and messed around all day and came out. We came out with a lot of. I think each single has similar artwork. Because it was all kind of done in one session, but yeah, it looks really cool. I kind of like that you can't really tell what it is, but
no, I like it too. Why you decided to go with orange? Because you've made everything orange.
Yeah, in all honesty, I don't know. When we did the singles, they each had a color. So like Cleanse Resistance was kind of like a reddy orange, Requiem was purple, and then Dispirit was blue. So we're like, we'll just carry that on. So we did orange. I'm sure we probably won't do it next time, because it is difficult, because you do kind of limit yourself to what you can do when you're just doing one color. But I think, yeah, it's cool. But I think for the album, we probably won't do that, but we'll see. Who knows?
Well, I like how it all adds cohesion to everything. I think that's really cool. But yeah, I'd get sick of orange after a while if I was you guys.
Yeah, it's cool. Like for the singles, it worked. And I think people kind of associated, if they saw our posts on Instagram or whatever, they go, "Oh, that's a Heriot post," because we do everything the same, and like the whole EP campaign, everything has been orange pretty much. So yeah, it was intentional, but we do take a lot of time on the visuals, thinking about the visuals. I think it's important.
So this is your first release on Church Road Records, is that right?
Yeah, first proper release. Dispirit came out as a single on there as well, and the Machine Head covers on Church Road. But yeah, this is the first record.
Okay. How did you hook up with them?
I think they got in touch with us after we put out Requiem. I think they just emailed us. Justine and Sammy are in a band called Employed to Serve that we're all fans of. So we knew them anyway. I think Deb had a friendship with them, with Justine and Sammy, before the rest of us did. But yeah, they approached us, which was really cool. We were fans of the label. When we were thinking about labels, they were on our list of ones we'd like to work with. So yeah, we were chuffed when they got in touch with us. It was cool.
Nice. So to me, it kind of seemed like y'all came out of nowhere, like this crazy rise. How did you get so popular so fast, and especially over like the pandemic? Like, it doesn't really make sense to me. How walk me through the process. How'd you get there?
I honestly think that because everyone was at home on their phones and on the internet, we took advantage of that massively, and it was like just being good on social media and pushing socials, because it was weird to put out 3 songs and not be able to do any shows, but then have all these people kind of like you. It didn't feel real at the time because they're all just numbers on a screen. Like we couldn't meet these people. But like if you looked online, that had all these people talking about us, all the press. So I think we just got lucky with the press as well. I think like having Kerrang and Revolver kind of into you and telling people about. We've just got lucky. In all honesty, it's just I think like we think what we're doing is cool, but yeah, it's luck. I think.
Was there ever
lucky.
was there like a post or anything like that where you like just blew up afterwards, or was it just like more of like a gradual thing?
Yeah, it was quite gradual. Each single we dropped, it increased. You could see the growth there, even with the singles of the EP. I think we dropped Near Vision in November, December, and even that from there onwards just constantly grew and grew and grew, which is great. Like obviously it'd be a bit of a bummer if we put out a track and it bombed a bit, but we've been lucky. Everything's kind of risen up and it's been steady. But yeah, we've worked hard as well, so it's not like we're like we have worked hard as well.
Yeah, you're not like slacking or anything like that, but it's so crazy to see just how much like you've grown. And what was it, a year and a half since you like did the relaunch or whatever? Much. That's crazy, dude. Like y'all are getting
honestly,
so many streams on Spotify and stuff. Like I can see like through Spotify for artists. I think y'all are like 1,000 streams a day, or maybe it's just 1,000 listeners, because I know that you're getting like a lot. And that's wild, dude, for a band that's like if you're calling yourself a year and a half old, like that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it is nuts. Like we are really grateful. But yeah, it's just been nuts because it's happened so quick. We haven't had time to kind of take a seat and kind of think, like how much we've done. It's still ongoing. It hasn't stopped. So like I don't know when we will get a chance to kind of look at it and go like bloody hell, like we've been busy. But like this summer's just going to be crazy as well. Like it's just going to keep going and going.
Do you have any advice for any new bands? Like, what did you do right that you think other bands should do to be successful?
I think being consistent and social media is huge. Like visually as well, we put a lot of time and thought into how things look, and I think that stood out amongst other bands. But yeah, just be consistent, I think, is key. That we're really anal about our social media. We always post at the same time every day at the peak time stuff, looking at algorithms and stuff like that. Like that stuff is really important. We do put a lot of time and effort into that kind of stuff.
Do you have like a social media manager, or are you guys all handling it yourself?
No, it's literally just us. We have no management at all. We're still independent, minus the label and our booking agent and PR. So yeah, we're still completely self-managed in-house.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
I do want to shout out some of the chat real quick. MJ Matthews talking about his orange cassette is neato. B Plore DJ waiting on my vinyl in Canada. He says that his neighbors are going to hate him on arrival day. MJ Matthews says the hype is real. Wore a Heriot shirt to a show this week, and at least 10 different people stopped me to talk about Heriot. Doing absolute bits.
Sick.
That's nice. Pretty awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's wild for us. Like even people like turning up to our shows wearing our merch. Like it's still just weird. I find that bad. It's cool, but it's weird.
That's. So you guys have 6 festival appearances left to go for the year. Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. I think the outdoor ones anyway. We've got a few to be announced in September, I think, as well. But yeah, the kind of the UK festivals. I think it's 6. Yeah, I think you're right. Download, Art Tangent, Bloodstock. I can't remember the others now.
Well, those are the 3 I was going to shout out specifically. So yeah, that is awesome. Like holy crap, man.
We're so lucky to have literally every festival that I was planning on going to these festivals anyway, so now we're playing them, so it's nuts. But yeah, I don't think many other bands get to do every single one in the same year. It's ridiculous.
It's cool.
I don't know how it's happened, but yeah.
You also had just came off of an awesome tour with Pupil Slicer and End, right? Y'all
we did 2 shows with them. Yeah, they
okay, you just did 2 shows. Okay, cool. Still, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think End only did 2 UK shows, and we did both of those, and then they went around Europe with Conjurer, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nuts. Both of those shows were wicked. We did 3 shows that weekend. The first one was our EP release show, it was our first headline gig, and that was mental. And then the Saturday and Sunday was Manchester and London, and all 3 shows were the best shows we've ever done. So it was wild. It was crazy.
That's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you guys just like blowing up like this.
Thanks, man.
So what's the best show experience you've had so far?
I'd probably say that the headline release show, just because it was our first ever headline show. When it got announced, I think it was capped at 80 people and it sold out in a day. And then it got upgraded to the bigger room in the venue, and then that sold out in about 12 hours, I think. So we were like overwhelmed by that, and it was nuts. Like for it to be on the day the record came out was cool as well. But yeah, it was sold out, and it was the first time we just had people go absolutely fucking insane.
That's
from
crazy.
the minute we started. Like, it was wild. It was nuts.
How many shows had y'all played before that?
We did 2 tours. We toured with Rolo Tomasi and
Oh, you did?
Svalbard.
Sick.
So Svalbard was November. That was 8 days, and then we did, I think it was 10 days with Rolo Tomasi, and then we did.
So y'all, it wasn't like this was like your second show or anything like that. Like,
Oh no,
y'all
it was
have
just
been
the first time we
grinding it out.
headlined.
Okay.
Yeah, we opened on both of the Rolo Tomasi and the Svalbard tour, so it was the first time we'd headlined. So yeah, that was cool.
That's really cool to be able to tour with those bands. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, Rolo Tomasi, like, we're massive fans of them. So when we got asked to do that, we were like, yes, please, straight away. Like, yeah, and it was wicked as well. It was nuts.
What about your worst show experience?
So probably the worst show we had was actually the first date on the Rolo Tomasi tour, which was weird because the rest of the tour was incredible. Like, we had the best time, but the first show we just had so many issues. Like, we only played for 20 minutes because the doors were so delayed. Like, we were still sound checking and people were walking into the venue. It was just a car crash. It was horrible, and it was just so like frustrating because we were so looking forward to the tour, and it was just like it started and we were all just so bummed about it. But the rest of the tour was insane. Like, but yeah, that was rubbish. We don't like talking about that show. We try and forget that one ever happened.
So it was just like a shorter time frame than you were thinking, or what? I don't understand why it was so bad.
So not gonna like slag off the venue or the sound guy or anything, but the guy just didn't know what he was doing, and we couldn't sound check. We were stood on stage for about an hour and a half just while he was setting stuff up. And
okay, so you had like a time slot of like 30 minutes or something like that, but you had to like cut it down a bunch because
so doors got pushed back to about 8 o'clock. We were supposed to be on at 7:30 or something like that, and then people were walking in while we were sound checking, but things still weren't working. It was just rubbish. It was just really frustrating at the time. But yeah, the rest of the tour was insane. So
well, shit, man.
Yeah.
If that's like the worst show, like you guys are doing great.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else. I think that's probably the only one that sticks out. We played in London, and we played the Dome, and we lost all power on one side of the stage. But like, we couldn't do anything about it. It wasn't bad. Like, we kind of laughed it off, and when things worked again, it was cool. But yeah, we've been quite lucky, really. I'm sure there's still time for stuff to go horribly wrong.
Well, I hope nothing does.
Yeah, me too.
So you guys have cassettes, vinyl, CDs, shirts, and hats, all available at harrietmetal.bandcamp.com. Is there like another like store or anything like that you're trying to direct people to as well, or is it just the Bandcamp?
Yeah, that's our main one. I think depending on where you are in the world, you can buy it. It's probably better to buy it from, I think Death Wish put it out in Europe and the States. I think if you go to our link tree and wherever you're from, it will say like UK, Europe, US. Like, there's better places to buy it on that's cheaper for shipping. But we ship worldwide on our merch as well. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll also include that link in the description, so if people are looking
Cool,
for
man.
that. So yeah, let's wrap this up with your album of the year for last year or this year if something's caught your eye.
I think last year was probably Employed to Serve's new record called Conquering. It's cool because like we're friends with them and they run the label, but I fucking love their band as well. Like, that album is wicked. It was kind of a different direction for them. They kind of went kind of straight up more metal. It's fucking wicked. Like, if you haven't heard it, check it out. It's sick. I
Oh,
listened
it's
to
a
it
cool
like
release. It's great.
I listened to it like every day for a week when it came out. Like I played it to death when it came out, but it's awesome.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Nah, just cool. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting us as well. We really appreciate everyone who's listened to us in the last year. It's been crazy. So thank you.
I do have one other question. I forgot to ask. Are y'all planning on coming to the U.S. at some point?
We'd like to, but probably not for a while.
Okay.
I mean, like,
no
we do
plans
have,
or anything. I got you.
no, we do have an agent out there to represent us now, so it will happen at some point. But I assume it's probably not going to be till 2024. It's probably realistically when we can do it.
Jeez. Alrighty.
But yeah, if something happens and there's an opportunity that comes up, then we'll take it. But yeah, I don't know. It's obviously a huge thing, and it would be on top of our bucket list to do that. But yeah, we'll make it happen at some point.
Alrighty. So if you're looking for a heavy band doing very original things, you need to check out Profound Morality, the new EP from Heriot, which came out last month through Church Road Records. Y'all are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Bandcamp, YouTube, and all streaming platforms. Am I missing any kind of social media stuff?
No, that's all good, man.
Alrighty. As for me, drop my channel follow so you always know when I go live. You can also sub to get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube, as well as get some exclusive emotes. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube folks, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, tickle the notification bell, don't forget to subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Check out my music, The Sound That Ends Creation, at thesoundthatendscreation.bandcamp.com. My album, Boomers, Zoomers, Desperate Coomers, is out now. My next guest is the Motion Mosaic, who dropped their new EP Bed Sores Domino Effect last Friday. Join us this Wednesday, the 18th at 7 p.m. Central for the live cast. Thanks for being here, Julian. Hope you had a good time.
Nice one. Thanks, dude. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for watching and listening.
One second, I'm dead, I that is threatened by